All right, Grasshoppers, it is 11:30, and usually we have Mark Puttenfink on. He will be joining us. He's about 5 minutes late. So just for Billy Contradidiac, I'm going to do it by myself because I know he just loves me so much. Just a little, I have a friend of mine, as you guys know, I went to Northern Michigan University many moons ago, and that's up in Marquette, Michigan. And an old gentleman up there, I should say old gentleman, that's not a nice thing to say about you, Gene DeSonia, has a jersey, a Wildcat jersey that he's getting signed by about, I think, 100 guys throughout the years. And I haven't been back there in a while. So he sent me the jersey. I'm going to sign it today, get it back out in the mail. I'll take a picture of myself. I'll probably put it on, show you guys. So exciting news. Let me see what's going on here. So we've been having some good workouts lately. Nobody's watching right now. Jeez, I guess nobody likes me anymore. So some really good workouts. It's funny how workouts go. Like sometimes you really get on a roll, you're feeling good, and other times you got one person watching right now. I wonder if it was Bill Contradidiac. So it's funny. Yesterday I was doing the cooking show, and it's I'm always talking about the dogs and everything. So we decided now we're going to embrace the sound of dogs barking. So on the cooking show, I really old song, Who Let the Dogs Out. So I decided to get that going in the background while I was cooking. So made me dance. I was starting to dance. I was looking at the show when I was dancing. I'm a pretty good dancer now too. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Oh, Billy, just for you, Billy boy. Yeah. Who let the dogs out? I haven't heard that. It just came to me. So I was just about to do the cooking show, the video for it. And I thought, geez, I'll put that song on. So I talked to my old Google play. I don't know if I told you guys, but during the start of the pandemic, I was talking to Google. I asked Google if she loved me. And she's just fantastic. Oh, Tom, you're the best ever and all this kind of stuff. I asked her recently. She goes, I don't have feelings. So I guess that relationship's gone too. Oh, God. So, yes, just, that Gene DeSonia up in Marquette, Michigan has got that Wildcat jersey sent to me. I'm going to sign that today. He's got quite a little project going. There's been a lot of reunions, and he's got this jersey. And I think he's like 100 guys have signed it. I haven't been back in a while. There's been a couple of us that haven't been back there. So it's been a long time. So I left there in 1980. For the first couple of summers, I turned pro. I would go back up to Marquette. So I guess like 1982, 83. So it's probably been like 40 years since I've been back up to Marquette, Michigan. Great spot. A lot of people don't know about Marquette, Michigan, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. There's the two halves of Michigan. And Marquette's up in the top there, right on the southern shores of Lake Superior. So I went there when I was 18 years old. My parents actually tell stories that they thought I'd be home in about 2 weeks. I'd never been away from home. Never went home after that. Stayed up there. It's a great experience. Everybody always said to you, it's going to be the best 4 years of life. I was so fortunate, but my first year that I went to Northern Michigan was the first year they had a hockey program. So I got to be a captain my first year. So I was a 4-year captain up there. Learned a ton. I just was so, you're 18 years old, you're wild, and you don't really know what you're doing. I just, being through all those experiences, I learned now how all experiences mistakes should make or whatever. So let me see here. I see all those injuries in football and think that they lift too much, and then I think perhaps Bubba's shoulder injuries. Well, there is a theory, right? It's interesting with football. Baseball's like that now. You see all the baseball players. It's like in the past, pitchers would play the full game. That was what they did. Now they've got pitch limits and pitch counts and all that kinds of stuff. You do wonder sometimes. Like, I don't mean to criticize you old baseball players, whatever, and I don't think conditioning was a huge thing for them. They just played baseball. And it just seemed like, they played a lot more. They pitched more often. The pitchers did. They pitched full games. You do see football players the same thing. Injuries now. You wonder why? That's been interesting. I think that maybe there's studies out there that why players are getting hurt more. Bubba was in fantastic shape. I think part of the reason with Bubba was he just played such a hard game too. He was a physical man, and people were after him. I remember when he got hurt there in the playoff series with the Islanders. Pat Flatley came to hit him and hurt his shoulder. Bubba was fine. He's a great teammate. I know I tell the story all the time, but he was a big man too, and he was in shape, and he used to work out after practice in front of the mirror. I can't remember. He wasn't nude, I don't think. He might have shorts on or something like that. But people were just like, some people were like laughing and having fun with him. Other people were scared to death of Bubba. They just couldn't figure him out. He was a funny man, though. Oh God, he went a couple times in. We had one time in warm-ups. He comes flying over and wants to bump shoulders with me, and I didn't see him till the last second, so I went to really brace myself. He didn't think I was going to, I wasn't like I was going to knock down Bubba very often, but he didn't really think I was going to hit back. And he knocked him on his ass. It was funny. He was dying laughing. We're at Madison Square Garden, get ready for the game. And, other guys do that. You see guys bump into each other a little bit. And he just took me by surprise. I dropped him. Oh, God, he was a good man. Good teammate, too. Really good. Good hockey player. A lot of pressure, I think, was on him, getting traded for 5 guys. They'd gone to the finals. Then they traded for him, traded 5 guys. 5 guys that had gone to the finals, played, real character guys too. But who was it? Sheehy, was it Sheehan or whatever his name was? Let me see here. I say that because Nicky was a powerhouse, but didn't have the injuries of Bubba. Remember at St. Ives when Nicky knocked Kevin McCarthy? Yeah. Oh, Nicky's a strong man. It's a good point. Nicky was more. Nicky sure worked his game and his conditioning of it too, but he was more like that farm boy strong. Bubba was strong. He was a beast, but it was more like, he spent a lot of time in the gym. All right. Here he comes, Mr. Mark Puttenvink. I think we're going to be disappointed here today because I see that he has a shirt on. What's happening there, brother?
Just got home.
Just got home? Good. So we're just chatting a little bit about it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to introduce you again like I always do, but I want you weighing in on this subject too. Some questions here about injuries now. So this is Mark Puttenvink, a very good friend of mine, a guy I respect a great deal. We really didn't know each other until, 2 years ago?
2 years.
Yeah, we saw each other on Facebook. Facebook. I didn't realize that he'd been a physical trainer with the Rangers and lots of other places. So I've learned a lot from this gentleman. He's got a company called Patriot Training Systems. Trains all kinds of military people, kids, wives, everything. How you doing, brother?
Good and bad.
Yeah, still sore.
Yeah, it got worse to the point where I really can't do much.
Right. And so we call this a sports hernia? Is that
well? Yeah, I mean technically it's called an inguinal hernia, which is pretty common. 75% of all hernias. They really don't even know what causes it, and it's primarily men that get it.
Right. Interesting. So Jack Smith was asking some good questions here. He first brought Barry Beck. Barry Beck is a big, muscular guy. Was getting a lot of shoulder injuries. I shouldn't say a lot, but got shoulder injuries and everything. And we were talking about like in baseball, for instance. Many years ago, conditioning wasn't a big thing. Pitchers would pitch the whole game, a lot more. Now you got these guys who are in better shape, but it seems like they get hurt more or can't do. What's going on there? Is there a reason for that?
As far as the baseball goes, I think number one, they throw harder than they ever did before. And that motion repetitively is just not good for your rotator cuff and also your elbow. Tommy John surgery. And I'd also venture to say some of the guys might be helping themselves a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And when you do, and I'm not accusing anybody, but when you do, you dry out your attachments, your ligaments, and your tendons. But so I think it's a combination of things. And I also think it's the mindset. I mean, they do a pitch count now, which they never used to do back then.
Yeah, I know.
And you have guys that are specialists that just are only good for one inning.
Right.
So I guess the game's changed a bit.
Yeah. It's that whole discussion too. What we get into, like Brendan Duffy's not going to like me again, but we get into like the back-to-back games.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about hockey. So the numbers bear it out that you're less likely to win on the second night of back-to-backs.
Right.
But I believe a lot of that is you're telling yourself that, right? They're being told, the players are being told over and over, okay, you're going to be more tired, so you're less likely. I just think it's that, you get your mindset better that, okay, yes, I may not be as fresh as I was the first night. I just need to be sharper the second night around, right?
Yeah, and Brendan could speak to it, but I'm sure there's a lot of things you could do, like staying hydrated and to kind of give yourself a better chance of performing well the second night.
I just think it's even like the coaches, it's the whole mindset, right? Like they may play the backup goaltender more on the second night because they think, well, you got a better chance of losing tonight, so we'll just throw the backup goaltender. That kind of stuff. So it's now self-fulfilling. Now the team starts to think, okay, well, we got less of a chance to win, so it's almost like an excuse not to win, right?
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was going to say the matchups too, who you're playing, that factors into it as well.
I know you love this guy too, Robbie Ftorek.
Yeah.
So he, you know how tough he was mentally. Honestly, I think back about him. He was one of the toughest men mentally and physically I've ever seen, right? He had this thing was it Herbie Brooks? Like 5-game segments. He would break the season down into 5-game segments, and we'd get together as a team and say, okay, how many of these 5 games do you think we should win? And guys are thinking logically, like look at the teams we're playing, schedule them, like 3 games or 4 games, whatever. Robbie would always say 5. That's it. We got to win 5. It's just why I go into every game to win it. So if I won 4, if we say we're only going to win 4 or 5, and we go into the game we've already won 4, then what are we going to do? Just give up and not play? So
yeah, and I think true to that also is that whole mindset of like we're only going 40. We got another 40% left in us.
Yeah,
even on a good day.
Yeah,
and Robbie, to your point, he was a pretty small guy. I remember I went in his office one morning. He had his shirt off. I was like, man, I'm a little dude, but this guy's his shoulders are like this.
Oh yeah, nothing to him.
Yeah.
That
and
big.
What's interesting about him? In his hometown, he's from Needham, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
he's remembered as a soccer player there more so than a hockey player.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Tremendous athlete.
Yeah, he used to have that big moon helmet. He had the little body and the big moon helmet.
It weighed more than him, I think.
Oh, but he was one of those guys too. You look at the lineup before the game starts, and they go, "Oh, geez, I've got to play against him tonight." He was just like never quit.
No,
man, I had so much respect for him. He was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was up in Albany with him, there were some players that were struggling a bit. He'd be at the rink early to just work one-on-one with them. I mean, he really worked with. I think he was really better suited, in my opinion, for the American League than the National League because he's a great teacher of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's really teaches the kids like that discipline, right? Because you're like in LA with Gretzky there and Larry Robinson, all those guys. They're going to do.
The coach.
Yeah, they're great guys, fantastic team players, great players that have ever played. Some of the greatest players ever played, but they played. Wayne Gretzky wants to stay out for 3 or 4 minutes on a shift. He's staying out for 3 or 4 minutes because he thinks, and that just wasn't Robbie, right? It was by the book. 45 seconds, you're off the ice. Yeah.
Well, in Albany, he had Red Gendron with a stopwatch, 38-second shifts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he was funny. I know I've told the story, but we had this. Craig Patrick was a fantastic guy. I got a ton of respect for him. But he one year brought in this, I guess you call him a sports psychologist, whatever.
Right.
And Craig really believed in this guy. We're up at a hotel up in Armonk, New York. We rented one of those big rooms, and the guy's up there bouncing on a small trampoline. Have I told you the story? Did I tell you this?
I don't think so. No.
So he's bouncing on the trampoline, telling us he's a better quarterback than Dan Marino was. So I don't know.
Really?
So we're all sitting in the room thinking, okay, let's just get this over with. Just shut up. Don't answer any questions.
Yeah.
Let's get this done. So of course I can't let that go. I've got to start the pot, right? So I said, so where's your qualifications from? So he pulls it. He says, oh, great question, Tom. So he pulls out this green card out as well. I'll never forget. He had a degree in surgery from the University of France. So Robbie Fattori's sitting up front. I'm in the back, and I'm just thinking to myself, Robbie's going to snap. He's going to lose his mind right now. And he used to get mad, like his head would get red. And everything like that. So his head starts getting red, and I'm thinking, oh, here we go. This is going to be good. And
go ahead.
He goes on for a while, and Robbie goes, hold on. And he goes, you've got a degree in surgery from the University of France. And now some of the guys are getting mad at me because I've stirred the pot here now, because they want to get out of there. And so he goes on, Robbie, you tell. And Craig said, listen, you guys answer any questions you want. That's fine. You can question this guy. And we went on for a while. He must have gone for 2 hours. And he knew that I had lost my spleen, and he knew I didn't believe in what he was selling. And he says, and the power of the universe comes down comes down into your body through your spleen. And he looks right at me and he goes, do you believe that, Tom? And the guy's all sitting beside me. He goes, just say yes. Because if I say no, this guy's going to go on. And I couldn't help myself. I said, no, I don't believe that.
You know what? There's a lot of that. I mean, everybody's looking for a competitive edge, right?
Right.
Everybody. And we had somebody come in from Canadian Special Forces, had this light board. So you go in this dark room, and the lights go off, and you got to hit them, right?
Right.
And then the computer would spit out your results. Ironically enough, there was no correlation at all between Brian Leach bombed on it. And it may have been like, what am I even doing in here? This is stupid. Yeah. And then some of the guys that were plumbers that were never going to play were at the top level of it. So maybe they would have made good Canadian Special Forces, but it didn't correlate to hockey.
Right.
There was a lot of voodoo thinking, I think.
Isn't that true? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think obviously you're in the same boat as me. As time's gone on, we've learned more stuff about the power of the mind and everything, the subconscious mind and all that stuff. It's just, God, man, I wish, like even I can't remember if you and I had the discussion or not. Like even in schools nowadays, you wish they were teaching kids more about believing in themselves and training their brain and everything. Right? Is that the dog?
No, Beth is running it. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Tom.
So I wish they would teach in schools more about the power of the mind, like how kids could accomplish things in the mind, right? So you see so many kids now. Where I walk here in Greenwich in the morning is Todd's Point. I got there right there. Normally do it at 6 o'clock, and there's a mile long of cars. And I guess the high school kids, the seniors in high school, have this senior sunset day where they come and watch the sunrise.
Right.
So they're all there, and I get talking to this one woman had been talking to these kids, and it's amazing how they're saying to her, "We just needed to get out because we missed all our friends." And it's like it was really this kind of like eye-opening thing. Beth, what's happening? She's showing up. Yes, there she is. The beautiful Beth. What's happening? How are you doing? Good to see you.
How are you?
Looking gorgeous. Looking gorgeous. We have to sit. We got to get you on a show sometime. There. Oh, you doesn't get you, Mark. You're good. Yeah. Got to get you on a show sometime and say like, why did you pick Mark? Right.
Did you see where our hands were going?
Yeah. Better than that. Go ahead. You can joke them.
You know.
Were you guys out in Montauk or something this past weekend again?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was nice.
It was great for them. I was in bed with an ice pack the whole weekend.
Oh, really? That sore?
Yeah, I can't do much.
Oh, she's giving it the big tears thing. Oh.
Hey, don't you have something to do? Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, empty the car.
What does where does Beth work?
A&E Networks.
Who? What? A&E Networks. Oh, yes. I knew that.
So I think we should pitch ourselves for a show. I'm going to talk to her.
Yeah, totally.
She calls this, by the way, Laidlaw and the Lunatic.
There you go. That's good. I like the name. I'm fine with that. Yeah. I'm fine with that. So, oh man, I must have lose my mind yesterday. Yeah, this whole dog thing, like I told you about the dogs. So I've decided now we're going to embrace the sound of barking dogs. So I go to tape or video my cooking show yesterday, and I was just in this goofy mood. So I had my Google play Who Let the Dogs Out.
I saw it. It was great. Yeah. By the way, on the way home, since we were in traffic, I started telling Beth about the air fryer. So we're going to get one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
She'll love it. She'll love it. Seriously. It makes it so much easier, quicker, healthier.
Yeah. Healthy. Nice. Yeah.
Actually, Darren Veach, the old player, Darren Veach, he does a lot of cooking too. So he contacted me, asked me which one I had. He got the same one. So you got to get the same one. We should have like a team of air fryers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send you the information. So.
Beautiful.
So, funny. You're in pain, aren't you?
Who, me?
I can tell you're in pain.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh.
You know what it is? It's distended now. It's popped out.
Oh. Yeah. And you can't push it back in?
It can. I don't want to manipulate it too much and make it any worse. So I just ice it and grin and bear it. It's literally a pain in the nuts.
I can tell you are in pain right now, big guy. It's not funny either. I'm not laughing.
No, I know. It is what it is. And unfortunately, I still got another 2 weeks to go.
Yeah. You did a video on the weekend. What was that about again? Was it training kids? Or...
Yeah, I started thinking like one of the things that Special Ops, it started with the Navy SEALs, did this, keep in mind training. So you'll look at something, you get 30 seconds to look at it, and then they'll hit you up like, what did you see? Where was it? And all that kind of stuff. So I started thinking, hey, we could do that ourselves all the time as a training modality. Yeah. And just like I said, it could be anything, really. You could walk into a room.
Yeah.
But I did it in the backyard. You just do a quick 10-second scan and then leave and come back an hour later and go really slow and pick up on what you missed and what you didn't miss. And I don't know what the science is, but a lot of these things, if you do them 21 days in a row, multiple times a day, you actually see a marked improvement. And that kind of training is really good for combat. But I think it's really good for athletics too, because if you're, especially a defenseman or a goaltender, you can afford, but if you're going to read the play, you can take a quick snapshot and remember where everybody is, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I love that stuff. I remember seeing that video. It's like, yeah, that's cool because you really can train your brain. Like I've learned, I just over this last 5 years with True Good Life and everything, I just learned.
And when you do it, it's amazing what you missed.
Yeah, totally.
It really is.
Yeah, just to make yourself better, even if it's not for any reason whatsoever, just make yourself a stronger mind. Like I know you know this, but every time we're talking, it's like I'm saying, listen, you want to make your body better, right? You eat the right foods, you go to the gym. It's the same thing with your brain. It's what you put into your brain, how you exercise it.
There's a guy, I think his name is Kelly Slater. He wrote a book called The Supple Leper. and he's a movement guy, mobility guy.
Mhm.
New Orleans Saints have used him. A couple NFL teams have used him. It's really good. And he put up a video the other day, like, if you're injured, but I'm looking at it as my recovery leading up to the surgery and recovery. Again, it's not a big surgery, but I want to heal quickly as I can.
Sure.
And he goes through a litany of things like 8 hours of sleep. Brendan, you'll be happy to hear this, which means staying in bed 30 to 60 minutes longer than you normally do. So you get that 8 hours.
Right.
And then he said hydration, 2 to 3 liters more than you're currently hydrating. He said you want to flood the lymphatic system. And then up your protein intake, which makes sense because you have a lot of tissue repair. You need those amino acids.
Right.
And then also collagen,
Oh.
which is a tissue building
Right.
supplement. So I'm gonna run that.
That's right, because collagen is really good for your skin too. So that's a
Correct.
tissue. So,
Yeah.
Right. Huh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Your skin's your largest organ
Yeah. Yeah.
in your body.
I was one of those guys for years. I didn't take care of my skin at all. Like, and I just,
Yeah. Who did?
I just, it's one of those things I realize now. Well, yeah, if you want to keep it looking young. Yeah, take care of
Yeah.
it. Like I take collagen every day, a couple of scoops of that collagen peptides, and yeah.
And I know
What
that,
do
interesting enough, when Bruce Driver had his nose surgery a while back, his doctor put him on a 30-day diet leading up to the surgery, which reduced the swelling
Right.
and bruising. So you can really do a
Yeah.
little research on it and prepare for surgery or prepare just for any kind of injury.
I know. A couple of buddies of mine were calling me stupid for not using the air conditioning. They just couldn't get the logic. And I'm saying, well, listen, you train your body, you train your mind. This takes something out of your life that you don't have to have. And they're just going, that's stupid.
Well, but that's the whole point of any
Yeah.
type of training like that, is to make
Yeah.
it difficult, even
Yeah.
though you don't have to. So that's
Totally.
another added benefit. You don't have to.
Yeah.
So really, you get more bang for the buck, so to speak.
Yeah, you really do. You think about if you're lifting weights, you want to lift heavier weights all the time, break down more muscle tissue, let's regrow. And yeah.
We grow. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of, extrapolated that whole little drill from the Kim training, and I think it's easy. Anybody
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, we should be doing more stuff like that. You're just sitting there anyways. It's 10 seconds out of your, you're coming back, right? I agree.
But I mean, those guys, I don't know who it was, but like they'll sit in a room and they'll count how many outlets there are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jack. I'm gonna put this up here so Mark can see this. It's a nice compliment. I'm 60 now. What an inspiration you guys are. Health living.
Thanks, Jack.
You know what it is too. I think with both Mark and I, it's just become part of our life now. It's not like I don't think you do, and I certainly don't. Like I don't say, well, geez, I have to go to the gym. I'm more saying, well, I get to go to the gym, right? It's fun.
Yeah. So another interesting little short video I saw over the weekend was a guy was saying, go through your bank statement and add up how many times you went out to eat, or what you spent on, I don't know, movies or something like that.
Yeah.
It'll be about $500 a month. He said, take that money and put it into coaching, someone to coach you, whether it's your business or
Sure.
personal well-being or training
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Or self-training, take some of that
Totally.
money and buy some books to read
Totally.
or online.
Like, even with foods now, like I've just realized, okay, look at all the ingredients. What is it that's in ketchup? Corn syrup? Or is it?
Yeah, they put corn syrup in just about everything. So you
Right.
really have to, because it's a cheap sweetener. And
Yeah.
I think we've mentioned this before, but there's a direct correlation between when high fructose corn syrup was introduced into the American diet in the late 70s, and the obesity rates just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So
You don't
these are
realize that,
causes
right?
and effects.
It's just one of those things. Let's grab the ketchup bottle and throw it in. Because you think, well, it's tomatoes, right?
Yeah,
But yeah.
vinegar, tomatoes, some spices.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but I was driving to the gym the other day, and I saw two people moving furniture into a home. I forget what it was, but in any event, they were so overweight. God bless them, but they were young guys. It was a woman and a man. They're probably only in their 30s.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what a sin! Like, how did you get to that point?
I know. And I know you feel the same way too. It's like you don't want to be like insulting, like saying, well, you're
No,
fat. It's a health issue. It's not
correct.
it's
Not
like your heart-
aesthetics. It's about
Yeah.
living.
Exactly. Like your heart has to work harder. Your veins are getting clogged. And I think I want to talk about this too. So I'm helping some people with their just overall health. And they went out and they had bacon cheeseburgers and French fries. And they said, well, we're going to go work out later, so we're going to work it off. And I said, well, that's really not how it works, right?
It doesn't work.
Explain that logic to me. I mean, that's that bad fats, right? It's the trans fats. It's the saturated
Yeah,
fats.
I mean, it's in my view, empty calories.
Yeah.
Again, to do it once in a while, no problem.
Yeah,
But
totally.
to be part of your diet
Right.
during the week, yeah. And the notion that we're going to work it off in the gym is just it's wishful thinking.
Yeah, and again, it's just the science is that that's bad fats going into your body and it's being stored in your fats and your veins and everything. It's hardening of your arteries. So it isn't like like if you want to pig out on something and have a big bowl of chickpea pasta, that's that's something healthy for it. I just got. Don't you think it's like when you get healthier, you get to the point where you look at food differently. You still want to enjoy your food, have it taste good, but you're looking at it and say, okay, what is this doing for my body, right? What am I putting into my body?
Yeah, food is really, besides the taste of it, and we enjoy it. It's also a social thing. We celebrate with food and all holidays. But the reality of it is two reasons you eat. One is to get the energy, and the other one's to repair tissue.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
I never thought about the repair tissue that much. How does that work? What do you mean?
Well, protein and amino acids are so we're breaking down tissue, particularly when you're training, because what you're doing is you're causing micro trauma to the muscle, and the muscle heals, and they're still not sure if there's hyperplasia, which in other words, if these are muscle fibers, hyperplasia, the theory is becomes this now, and so you have tissue repair, and it's only with protein. So the carbohydrate provides energy. The protein is the building block of muscle and nails and skin and everything else.
And amino acids is the same thing, right? I mean, they help the tissue heal the tissue.
Yeah. So the protein, basically the amino acids in the protein, is what's utilized for tissue repair, tissue growth, and so then you have to get into the bioavailability. So, like for instance, an egg is 98% bioavailable, meaning you're going to absorb 98% of the egg to be available. Those amino acids are going to be available to you.
So there's amino acids in a lot of foods.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So I take amino acid. I take an amino energy drink in the morning, which has got amino acids and caffeine in it, green tea caffeine. So that's a supplement to it. But there's also, you're also getting amino acids in a lot of food, steaks and all that stuff.
Yeah, and there's other, like, so for instance, creatine monohydrate right now, it's not an amino acid, it's a substance, but it's in steak, it's in red meat. But to get the amount of creatine monohydrate that you would need to utilize as a supplement, you'd have to eat about 14 steaks. So that's why you do it as a supplement. Yeah. Even the collagen is I think from actually they get it from hooves of horses.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
So
I really do. So since it's hard to really tell what's making you feel better. I guess it's my whole diet is making me feel better.
Absolutely.
Right? It's all healthy stuff.
Yeah. And heal thyself is an old saying over the thousands of years. And that's true. I mean, so we can heal ourselves by eating certain foods. And that's what I'm saying. I'm going to really try to really be strict with this.
Sure.
What Kelly Slater was talking about. So my recovery, they're saying 6 weeks before I can really go full tilt. I want to make it 4. I want to chop 2 weeks off.
Yep.
And I also think that 6 weeks is a general number they throw out there, not taking into account what your lifestyle is, what your fitness level is. Yeah.
Right. Totally. And how long have you been? When you were younger, you weren't as healthy as you are now, right? As far as the health.
No, when I was younger, I was a maniac.
Yeah, I know. I remember sitting around after practice eating a big bowl of French fries with gravy on it and everything, and beers and
absolutely.
That's the only part. Like, I don't look back and regret anything in my life. I made mistakes, plenty of them, but that's the one thing I look back and I go, oh, geez, if I knew then what I know now. I know people say that all the time, but God, as far as my profession, being a hockey player and not as healthy, but I realize now I wasn't nearly as healthy as I could have been. So.
Yeah, I think today's athlete, by and large, are more tuned in.
Yeah.
I think a big part of this is the money they make.
Yeah.
And also the fact that we're more educated in general. I mean,
yes. And the cultures change where the culture back then was the beer was the bonding thing that kept everybody together. It was teams supplied the beer. That's what they wanted.
Absolutely.
So that's the one thing coming up I did not anticipate. I knew guys drink beer like that, but it was part of the staple.
It was a lot of beer.
Yeah. It was God.
I remember Mike Bosniak and we went out to get something to eat. And for whatever reason, I wasn't, drinking that particular time. And Buzzy said to me, "Is it okay if I drink a cigarette? Go ahead, man."
Yeah.
Not counting. and he could go. He was a good man. Still a good man. Did you
Is he
know
a
much?
good guy? I remember playing against him, and I didn't
Real
like
good
him.
guy.
Oh, okay.
Really good guy. Funniest story he told me, he said he went to play in Italy for a year, came back, and in the American League, he lines up next to Archie Henderson.
Oh, God.
And Archie looks at him and says, I am so happy you're back in the league. He goes, why? Because now I'm not the ugliest guy anymore.
that title had to go to Gary Risling in the National Hockey League.
Oh,
He's a great guy, too. I got to know him. Super guy, but man, he's
Yeah.
not a pretty face.
Yeah, he had a pretty scarred up and toothless look to him.
He would take on anybody, though. Do you know this guy? Dirk Pearson used to speak with me. You know, this was 40 years ago, gaining strength.
Yes.
You know that? Oh,
Yeah, they were on. I saw them on, and Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were on Merv Griffin, I think.
oh, is that right?
And they were like kind of hippie-ish,
Oh,
and they were talking about the difference in brown fat and white fat.
oh,
Yeah, and they had a tea supplement they were promoting at the time that burned the brown fat.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I do remember them. I'm surprised anybody else does. Good call, Jack.
I was doing some reading or on Google. I can't remember where it was. Or watching YouTube. Where there's some dispute about how quickly, excuse me, autophagy starts.
Yeah.
I kind of believe it's in that 12-hour range after 12
Totally.
hours of not eating. But there's some other people that are saying it's like 24 hours. What do you think?
Well, I guess there's different levels of autophagy too, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the truth is, I think the way, from my understanding, Tom, the sicker you are, the longer you need to fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a level of your health.
Health. So
Yeah.
just so everybody knows what we're talking about, it's fasting. So Mark and I do a 16-hour fast when we fast most of the time. Sometimes you push it longer if you can or want to. And the theory is that after 12 hours, all the fats and everything are burned up out of your body, right? Is that the correct way to say it?
Yeah, it's just all the calories are out. Well, more importantly, you're in a fasted state, which means you don't have any carbohydrate, you don't have any glucose, any glycogen. And I don't know really scientifically the mechanics of it, but I think that's a big part of it.
Right.
And then you begin to fast.
Right. So then your body shifts from now burning calories to going into autophagy where it heals all your cells and burns up stored fat.
Yeah. The way I like to think of it, Tom, is the maid's coming into your apartment and they're cleaning. Because that's what's going on in your cell when you're in a state of autophagy. Yeah.
I remember I was so stubborn too. I remember you first mentioned fasting to me. I don't need to fast, whatever. And then you start explaining this stuff to him going, oh, okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, when I first learned about it, I sat down with a guy who was supposed to be kind of a guru kind of guy with supplements and all that stuff. And he goes, nah, there's no way. You can't go that long. And I kind of listened to him until I did it. And then further I researched, I found out he stopped his research wherever he stopped it 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything changes. We're not doing what we did even 5 years ago.
Yeah. Is it true? Like how we look at eggs now has changed, it's gone back
with
and forth.
everything, even training.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you knew Peter Twist. Peter was with Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
And he came out, and I was good, still am. I haven't talked to him in a bit, but I'm good friends with Peter. And he stood in front of about 300 strength coaches. He goes, first walks out on the stage, goes, I don't know anything. There was dropped like $500. He goes, because what I did 10 years ago, maybe I'd do some of it, but things change.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally. I watched the Joe Rogan show one time, and he had this scientist on, and they talking about how people are saying, well, geez, you told us before that you had to keep your metabolism going, so you eat all the time and everything. Now it's fasting and all this kind of stuff. It changed. The guy said, well, okay, yeah, but science changes. He says, we found a crater I think he said a crater in Greenland or Iceland that's like 18 miles long that we didn't know about it before, right? It wasn't like we were wrong. It's just now the ice is melted, and now we found this crater. So.
And I also think it gets back to what is your end goal? If you're looking for body recomposition and also health,
right,
then fasting is the way to go for sure. If you're a sumo wrestler, you can't be fasting.
Yeah, totally.
And
it's really just skipping breakfast, which a lot of people do anyways. It's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah. I mean, and we talked about when we were younger. I remember being like doing roofing when I was in my early 20s in the summer. Go to the deli in the morning, coffee and a buttered roll every day.
Yeah.
Like just hard for me. That would be just hard. You'd have to tie me down.
Yeah. I know. I do feel I'm terrible because when I go for my march in the morning, when I drive through this little town, Old Greenwich, and there's a bagel shop. People always go in there and get bagels. I feel like walking in there and going,
it's tempting. It's tempting. I mean, yeah. No, I know.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah, everybody's doing their own thing.
Uh,
Yeah, everybody's got to do their own thing. If somebody had come to me, 10 years ago and tell me that I got to live this way, get away
Exactly.
from me. So I don't know if you want. When's your surgery? Is it all? You got a date for it?
Yeah, so it's September 8th,
September 8th. Okay.
which is unfortunate because I was supposed to have a big event on the 9th.
Oh,
I was going to invite you to come down. I think I invited you last year. There's a guy in town here
oh yeah.
who is a hunter. He harvests all his deer,
Yes.
and he gets all his wife and everybody to cook, and it's just an amazing spread. There's about 100 patriots out there, and we just have a nice time. And then
So
on
they-
September
do they-
11th, the Warriors, Ted and I. So a couple of years ago, I think it was during COVID. My friend Blake, who played 49ers, he played for the Bears.
Oh, yes, you told me.
Real good guy. I called him up and said, "Hey, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to the park. We're gonna do 2,997 reps to honor every person that was lost on 9/11." So that's what we did on 9/11. We went to the park. We're doing pull-ups and push-ups and punches and everything we did, squats, and we did it. So I called Ted up a month ago. I said, "Ted, this is what we're going to do 9/11. How about we take 2,997 shots on them?"
Oh,
So we're going to be at a rink here in New Jersey, American Dream, which is in that big mall, the new American Dream Mall.
Yeah.
And we're going to have our team. We're going to have first responders there. My friend Mike Vaccaro, who runs the Warriors program for USA Hockey for the whole country, he's coming up with a couple sled hockey guys.
cool.
Veterans.
And you're doing this September 11th?
September 11th. Yeah.
See, the Rangers usually have me going down to a fire station someplace in the city on September 11th. If I'm not doing that, I'd love to get out to that.
Come on down. Yeah. So, and from I don't know. I said to Ted, maybe we'll just say 2,997 shots because a lot of guys are going to miss.
Right. Yeah.
we could be there for a month. So,
I thought you were going to say shots of tequila or something like that.
well, that's after.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I got to tell you, one of my sayings, my favorite sayings is we got to beautify the world. And
Yeah.
we did that today. We had the great Beth on the show. So the world is much more.
Did you hear that, Beth?
What?
Want to repeat that, Tom?
So one of my big sayings, Beth, is beautify the world. That was from an old warrior, Indian chief warrior, Tecumseh. He wrote a poem talking about beautifying the world. So now that Beth is on the show today, we have beautified the world.
Tom, you are my new best friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I was waiting for that. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, brother. Take care of yourself. Get that ice bag on there. See you, Beth.
You're such a good friend of mine. During his recovery, I'm sending him right up to you.
Oh,
Then you guys can hang out.
how I just said such nice things about you, and you're going to do that to me? That's terrible.
I'm a giver.
You know, it's funny. We have a good friend, one of her best friends that she went to college with. Really type A person, type A personality. So she had some serious surgery done. Even when she doesn't, she's always got her hand out to her husband. Terry, need water, Terry. So Beth had her knee done, March or sometime.
Right.
So for 2 days, all I heard was, Terry. I'm like, yeah, Beth, what do you need? So now it's going to be my turn.
All right, brother. Get the ice bag on there.
Will do, brother.
Gotcha.